right. The Royals don't give up 5 runs in the 9th inning, Fulton. They give up 4, and they win by 1. That is what I am talking about. The Royals get the win last night. We will talk a little bit of Royals baseball, including something that's never happened before in Major League Baseball, but it did last night. How about that? History. You're a history buff, Fulton. Probably liked last night.
It was fun.
Very historic.
For many reasons, it was very fun.
Very historic day in the baseball world. So we got lots to get to. We got plenty of Chiefs to discuss because the Chiefs are practicing in St. Joe. We've heard from a few different Chiefs. We are going to hear from Rashee Rice and his parents' stomach issue, and Wanya Morris, the offensive lineman. Felix Anudike-Uzama spoke as well. We'll get to that in 580 Sports Talk, but want to get to a couple offensive guys first. Lots to get to. We will get to headline number 3. Headline number 3 for the Kansas City Chiefs heading into training camp. Fulton, still getting a little nervous? Chris Jones, nothing? Got nothing from Chris Jones yet?
No.
We're going full Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Remain calm, all is well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's all good.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
So, lot to get to. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. Let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our YouTube page. As always, you can interact with us. Go to youtube.com. It's really simple and easy. And then you type in Sports on 580. Can't get any easier than that. And you can interact. Shoot us a comment if you'd like. As it is practice number 1. All right, there's good and there is some bad when it comes to practice number 1 thus far. The first is that Patrick Mahomes has declared himself already in mid-season form, which is hilarious in my case. But yes, Patrick Mahomes out and throwing it around. According to Matt Derrick, today at 10:22 a.m., Patrick Mahomes announced he's in midseason form. In 7-on-7, Mahomes stepped to his right before firing a perfect strike to a leaping Nico Remigo. I don't know. Nico not going to make the team-o in the back of the end zone. That was mean to me.
That was really mean.
He's just that
was really that's 15.
Okay, let's throw it.
That's 15. That was really mean.
I'm just crapping on Nico's chance. I mean, okay, that was sensitive-wise very wrong, but realistically,
factually, you're correct. You didn't need to say it.
Okay.
Like factually, you did not at all need to say it. Also, it's Nico Remigo.
Okay, so we got Patrick Mahomes just dropping dimes. Fantastic. That's great to see. For those of you wondering out there who are all concerned about his beer drinking and his golfing, no, QB1 is going to be just fine.
The king is fine.
He's quite all right. One of 3 people ever to win 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So
he's not even 30.
So, I mean, 28.
Nope.
So. Calm down.
He turns 28 about 4 months before I do.
There are people out there who are like, he needs to stop drinking so much.
Oh, yeah, those people exist and they are fun.
You know what he needs?
They're losers.
Drink more. I don't care. Hey, just perform.
Yeah.
Just perform.
It's really funny how guys can just do, what they want in the offseason, and the great ones can do what they want and they're still fine. Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah.
They don't need to be, Tom Brady psychopath, working with personal trainers 24/7.
Now, I do think Mahomes does do some
of that. He does.
We found that out.
Like nearly every week he's working with Bobby Stripp 3 days a week at minimum.
Exactly. So there's a couple things that I want to get to. Andy Reid says he don't know if Chris Jones will show up on Veteran Report Day. He confirms communication regarding a new contract is ongoing. It's $50,000 a day that he'll get fined. Dan mentioned yesterday, he's like, the Chiefs will waive that. No, they're not. He is under contract. If he doesn't show up, he's getting fined. If they get a deal done, then maybe they could. But maybe the CBA says, no, they're going to get fined.
For what's worth to defend Dan here, since he's not here to defend himself, Dan did put that in the context of if they get a contract done, they would waive it.
If there's no contract done,
that's entirely different. Yeah.
He's getting fined.
Yeah, that's entirely different.
So we'll have to wait and see. Fulton's still not worried at all about it. What about some injured guys? Turk Wharton will start Chiefs camp on the PUP list. Andy Reid mentioned that yesterday. He was on the field today in the non-practice area working for Tershawn Wharton. But the one big positive is Isaiah Pacheco walked down the hill with the quarterbacks, with the rookies, and practiced. He was out there, kickoff returns, doing all that kind of stuff. Andy Reid said yesterday he wasn't sure if he would start training camp or go on the PUP list. I think he started training camp. I'm going to go ahead and say that. He was out there. There's photos of Isaiah Pacheco, pads, everything ready to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that he's good. He did wear the yellow non-contact jersey, which means caution, stop, don't.
No touch.
But according to Matt Derrick, he was vocal and feisty, and he looks ready.
Yeah, probably just said, a little bit wild, take it easy on the shoulder, but overall should be good.
Yep. Some other injury news here. Felix Anudike-Uzomah says he's 100% after thumb surgery that limited him in OTAs. Said he injured the thumb on his final snap in the Big 12 championship game. Big stop. And didn't know he needed surgery until preparing for the draft. He had surgery after his pro day in March. So he's good to go. That's positive.
Big positive.
So that is what is kind of happening right now when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. That is the individuals. Now,
nice, light, productive day one.
Now, something that I do find interesting for the people who are at Chiefs camp, Adam Teicher, friend of the show, and he tweeted out this earlier today. It's been a tough opening practice for wide receiver Rashee Rice, struggling with the heat maybe. He briefly left practice earlier and now threw up in the middle of a drill. When I first thought that, I said, that sucks. And then the very next thing. Now, I don't know. Maybe he had a stomach ache before practice. Maybe he's got the bubble guts, right? You got the bubble guts. It's just the way it is, right? I don't know. But then I thought this. What did we find out after OTAs and minicamp, Fulton, about Rashee Rice?
He showed up a little out of shape.
Normally, when you throw up, it's because you're working hard and you're not used to it. Okay. There were times that I threw up during the conditioning test because you push yourself to the max.
Yeah, and your body kind of loses itself a little bit there, and that's what happens.
And you call some dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Adam Teicher, and we're going to hear from Rashee Rice. And according to Rashee Rice, he says, I don't mind puking. It just means I'm working hard. You bet. That does.
Sure, brother.
It means you're working hard. Some people are just, they're pukers, man. Like, I know people who are in shape, but they puke a lot. It's just who they are, right? Not everybody's Fletcher Terrell who can just run like a deer no matter what and be totally fine.
Yeah.
We all know those people.
Yeah.
I can tell you this. Tyreek Hill is one of those guys. He can just run forever and never get tired. People have said that. I bet you Kadarius Toney is one of those individuals who can just run forever and never get tired. They're built different. Okay. Maybe Rashee Rice is not one of those people. He's a puker. It's not great though, because if that means you're working hard, that means you're not used to working that hard. If it's just that situation, there might be other situations, a lot of different things. But what did Patrick Mahomes say yesterday about Andy Reid's training camp? You're gonna work hard.
Yeah, it's been. Good old friend Jeff Allen tweeted about it earlier today. Of like, don't read too deep into this because got to remember Andy Reid runs one of, if not the toughest training camps in the NFL.
And he would know that because he's been to a couple different ones.
Jeff Allen's been to a few different ones, spent a lot of time with the Chiefs and Andy Reid, but he's been to a few ones as well. A lot of former Chiefs will tell you, and even current Chiefs will tell you, Andy Reid runs one of the toughest training camps. Like, it's just, you're going to work. I did want to add this real quick because I find the Heat remark very funny. Do you remember where Rasheed Rice played his college ball?
SMU!
How warm does Texas get in the summers?
Bro, Dan wanted to just dissolve into we walked out of
Dan and me, same guy.
Of Jerry World on Wednesday, and I bet it was 109.
It sucks.
But it was a dry 109.
I don't care. It's 109.
It was like 109, and we walk out there, and Dan's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Except he didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah. Can't imagine what he actually said.
It was a dry heat.
Mm-hmm.
I told Dan, I was like, Dan, this is the heat that's perfect. I said, I can go play 18 holes right now, not bat an eye.
Psychopath.
I'm not arguing that.
I know.
But
it's a different kind of heat. But St. Joe was about 85 today.
Right? I'm with you.
Rasheed Rice is used to playing ball in like that's. I'm not saying it could have an effect. I do completely agree. Texas summer heat and Kansas summer heat are two different things because we get real humid up here. They don't get that humid down there.
You're not in Houston. Where Houston it does.
I just find it very funny because I have a hard time believing it was the heat because of that. And if it was, does Buddy just not know what humidity is? Because he just never felt humidity.
But
that part's just funny.
This isn't a red flag.
No.
It's what's the new social media?
Oh, is it a beige flag?
It a beige
beige flag.
This is the beige flag.
Yeah, you're not concerned about it, but make sure you raise your eyes because now if Rasheed Rice goes through all of training camp, constantly having some of these issues, and I don't mean just puking during practice. Some guys, like you said, are just pukers, and maybe he'll just do that in practice. He does. But if it's consistent, maybe he's not making plays, maybe he's sluggish, commenting on how hard it is, all that. You can start to maybe, wonder a little bit about what he's going to be. But the biggest thing for me is this. There is guys can come into the league not knowing what it really means to work hard.
Exactly.
Does he eventually figure it? Like, if Rasheed Rice through all of this still sounds like a guy who's working hard, trying to bust his, even if he's a little out of shape to start, that he's trying to get in there.
That's what training camp is for.
Yeah. Training camp's there to whip you into shape. Other reasons.
It's not. It's what it used to be for.
Yeah, it
back
used
when
to
they
be
used
for that.
To, work down at the mill. Now you should show up in shape.
You should.
Because
as
you're
Jake
paid.
Always says, you get paid to be an athlete, and if you see you show up in the best shape of your life, Jake's gonna smack you upside the head.
Thank you.
I got you. But yeah, so it's not that concerning for me unless it becomes like a month. It become concerning for me if it looks sluggish during games. Yeah. Like if he's playing the preseason games and looks like, dude, he's dogging it out there, then we can start to have some conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just he seems to be, worn out from how hard Andy runs training camp, it's probably the hardest man sports in his life. Not to take shots at SMU, but I don't know how hard SMU was running their offseason practices.
Well, it's different. The speed, the pace. I mean, Mahomes has talked about it. Former Chiefs have talked about it. He'll get in better shape because the only way to get in football shape is to play football.
Yep.
But there are ways that you can prepare yourself better than that. And this might be nothing. He might have had a little stomach bug, just not used to it. But in 2 weeks he'll be fine. Then he knows. Then hey, this ain't gonna work. I have to be in better shape going forward. So those are some of the items that we did find out. I will say this: Chad Johnson who I'm a big Ocho Cinco fan.
Ocho's cool.
I like
Ocho's
Chad
cool.
I like Chad Johnson. I think you can argue that he should be in the Hall of Fame.
There's an argument to be made.
He had about a 7-year stretch where he was awesome.
He has a case to be made, which is more than some guys can say.
Well, Chad Johnson says, because Adam Teicher tweeted it out, and Chad Johnson says, Adam, tell Ray Shee I can fix this issue in a matter of 24 hours to ensure it never happens again. I need to know this stuff.
What technique did Chad learn in the NFL?
Now, Chad Johnson, one of those dudes never got tired. Like,
nope,
he
never.
He was that guy.
Yeah.
It's been well-known fact that Chad Johnson would just eat nothing but McDonald's during training camp and be totally fine. Like, he's a freak.
Yeah, his body's weird.
Yeah. But I do want to know that answer.
I just want to know what the secret is.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, maybe.
Not that I ever probably will need it, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, we just like knowledge.
Yeah.
The last thing I'm going to get to is I got to get to this about Andy Reid. Okay. Andy Reid said this yesterday. And if this doesn't answer the question on is Andy Reid going to retire soon? Here's what Andy Reid said in his sweet little Tommy Bahama Hawaiian shirt right out of Scanlon Hall yesterday on Report Day. Let's see. Let's try this again. Why is this not working?
Gotta love technology.
Fulton, how come this isn't working? Is the board set up right?
It is. Here, we'll try it this way. Here's what Andy Reid had to say earlier.
Yeah.
Listen, I take my work with me, and I spend a couple hours a day working on things on that time. I enjoy doing that. So, some people read novels. I look at plays.
Some people read novels. I look at plays. This goes back to when we found out that he goes back home, sits on the beach somewhere in California, and eats chili rellenos and just draws up plays. Is that a guy that sounds like he wants to retire?
Probably not soon.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this is Andy Reid. You know, the old saying, what I do is not who I am.
Yeah.
What I do does not define who I am. Mm-hmm. You are defined by who you are in a different way. You know, like I am not Jake LeBon, sports guy. That's what I do. That's not who I am, right?
Yeah.
That is Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He is a coach. He's an offensive wizard, guru. You know, You know what I mean? Like, that's Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He is who he is with what he does. Like, that is all in him, Bill Belichick, you know, like the best way I can describe that, who isn't the way the job, Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops hung it up at age like 53. Killing it at Oklahoma. Was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Sean McVay will be interesting because he's already talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like Andy Reid, that's who he is. Some people read novels. I wish you would have been like, some people read novels, some people play games. I look at plays. That's Andy Reid. Coming up, we'll get a quick timeout. We'll get to Rashee Rice, Wanya Morris. For our list today, quarterback season 2 coming out. What quarterbacks do we want on quarterback next year? Who do we want? Give me your top 4. Who do you want to see in that document series? Finished it last night. Fantastic. I'm going to get you my big final takeaway coming up after we take a quick timeout. All right, we're going to talk quarterbacking a little bit. I just discovered something.
Yeah.
So I had some beef jerky with my lunch today because we got a whole bunch of beef jerky down at the Big 12 Media Days. Got some stuck in my teeth, right?
Yeah.
Disgusting. I know you don't want to hear about that on the radio.
Who cares?
So I'm like, Fulton, do you have like any dental floss or something? And you're like,
To which I said, go get a toothpick from Britt. Because Britt's got like 80 million.
so I went to Britt.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, Britt, rumor has it you've got toothpicks. Can I have one? I didn't say borrow one. I hate when people say that. Can I borrow one? No.
No, I want a toothpick. I'm not sharing toothpicks with you.
And he goes, yeah. He pulled out of his pocket a tooth, honestly, it's like a toothpick case.
Yeah.
And he opened it up and he had like 8 toothpicks in there and he goes, yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
Wait, and I said, wait a minute, you just keep them things on you? He goes, yeah, I'm a toothpick guy. And I'm like,
Britt's a toothpick guy.
You just keep them on you at all times. He goes, yeah, I go through a lot of toothpicks a day. And I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He puts them in his pocket.
Yes.
He carries toothpicks with him.
Yeah, I know this.
Everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Britt and I have talked about this.
You don't think that's weird?
No. Toothpick guys are toothpick guys.
No, but like, he carries it around like
if you're a toothpick guy, you need to keep them on you in case you need to replenish the toothpick.
But he keeps, he walks around like it's like they're his car keys.
Yeah.
I've never known that. It's awesome because it worked. I already got it out.
I told you he had them.
Coming up, we're going to hear from Rashee Rice and Wanya Morris. We got Royals baseball coming up. I'm going to tell you something about the Royals here.
Yeah.
At the top of the hour that you're going to probably question my sanity. You probably are.
I do that all the time, but sure.
Yeah, but, you know, in this situation, I really do think that you're going to be like, wait a minute here. That's a bold take.
Okay.
But Royals are in action tonight. Brian Yarbrough on the bump. Our list today, and let us know.
Already got one in here on the text line, and I'm a big fan of this joke. Our list today, of course, as you were going to allude to, is we're doing quarterbacks you want to see on season 2 of Netflix's quarterback documentary. From the 316 on our text line, you can join in on 785-272-9429. Kyler Murray to see if he studies the playbook. That's funny to me.
And my next answer to that one is, does he have Final Cut?
No.
If he's got Final Cut, it ain't going to be in there.
So we're not going to know.
The golf guys did not have Final Cut. On Full Swing, the golf guys didn't know what was going to be in there. I remember Joel Damon was like, yeah, I had no idea what they were going to use. And his caddy, Gino Benelli, they had no idea what was going to use. Like, the stuff that Gino, the caddy, thought would be in Full Swing was not. He's like, oh, that was great. Interaction, great. What he thought would be tough.
Yeah.
Didn't make it. We know Mahomes had a little bit of final say in it. So if they've got final say in it, he ain't gonna let him show the
sitting on his butt playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, he ain't gonna do that. So
still funny.
Yes, he's not gonna make my list.
That's fair. I'm really intrigued who's gonna be your number one. Because that's the easy part for me. My number one was the easy thing to come up with.
Well, see, to me, I don't have a number one. My 3, 2, and 1 are all my number ones.
Okay, your 3, 2, and 1 are all your number ones because those are the 3 you want to just be there. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean, I guess we could go with if you only got to choose one, who would it be?
No. You can. It works that your 3, 2, and 1 would be 3. Would be your 3 big picks, or if all 3 of those would be in there.
Yeah.
I think it balances both. Yeah. Your 3, 2, and 1 are the 3 you want on there, but also your number 1 could be the one that no matter what, if you only had to pick one of them, that is the one out of those 3 you would pick for sure to be in there.
Yeah.
There's some ranking to it. Some balance.
Netflix documentary, finished up quarterback. There was a difference. The big all of the guys studied, all of the guys are into it. They're all family guys. They all separated well. Cousins, just lost the game of his life, and his wife's like, oh yeah, I forgot it's trash day, and he takes out the trash, goes upstairs, reads a book to his kid. Sorry if you missed it. Spoiler alert. I apologize. Should have mentioned that before. Same thing with Mariota. Very with family oriented. His wife helps out, reading the plays. That's not going to happen now that they got a kid. I can promise you that, Marcus. Everybody's got, Cousins has his own personal, because he's taken a beating the entire time. His chiropractor guys, Mahomes has got his passing guy. Mariota's got his best friend growing up as his chef, which, by the way,
what a gig.
I need that.
Yeah.
Outside of the physical attributes, that Cousins just doesn't have what Mahomes does with arm strength and ability and all of that. The one thing that jumped out to you, and it's just the personalities, but Mahomes is a killer.
Yep.
Like, Cousins, and to each their own. Cousins, he's not a rah-rah guy. You know, he's not. Mariota, not a rah-rah guy. And I understand that.
That's fine.
That is, you got to be who you are.
Yeah, don't pretend to lead like somebody else. Lead the way that it's just you.
But there's just something different. And his dad even said it. Okay? Mahomes' dad in the final episode. Spoiler alert, if you don't like it, mute it, whatever. When he hugged his dad after the Super Bowl, and his dad, who is a professional athlete, pitched for 11 seasons.
Yep, Pat Mahomes.
Been with a lot of good players. Said to him, now, is he biased? Obviously.
Oh, of course.
He goes, you're different, man. I've never seen anybody different. The competitiveness and just the fire and the leadership aspect, like he's not only better on the field because he can do so many things that no one's going to question who's got the better skill set out of all three of them.
Yeah,
now Mariota can run, but not like, it's just his skill set of throwing and everything. The mental side of it, that's hard to quantify because it sure looked like Cousins knew exactly what was going on. But man, he's the meme? The next time you take an X-ray of Patrick Mahomes' chest,
got that dog in it,
and there's 2 dogs in there, man.
It's got that dog.
There might be like 4 or 5 dogs in there. I thought that was telling. I really did.
It was. And, we've made the illusions of, Mahomes might be the closest thing these days to kind of that MJ in him. You saw during that. There is another. Our good friend Kent Swanson at the KC Sports Network, as I've seen him more than anyone else, phrase it as thus. There's playing Patrick Mahomes, and then there's playing Levon. When Levon comes out, you're screwed. Because that means he's going to eviscerate you with every fiber of his being. And you saw it. He literally has that gear.
Yeah.
Where, I've said before, my favorite part is I think in episode 1 with Max Crosby. I can't repeat what Pat says to Max Crosby as Crosby finally ticks him off too far. But he woke him up. And Pat proceeded to throw 4 touchdowns to Travis Kelce after that moment. And it's just, he just has that level that the greatest competitors of all time can get to.
Trez Paler once said, this is an over my dead body game. We're not going to lose this game over my dead body. And that's what Mahomes did in the game against the Bengals and the game against the Eagles. So
they weren't losing.
No, they weren't. It was we also had another, since my wife was super into it. My wife, college athlete. I mean, she loves sports. I mean, she coaches volleyball right now. We had to get out. We had to pause the tape and had to slow it down a little bit because she wanted to know about the Pikachu play, catch 'em all, as to why they were trying to get to Wiley. And then the very next play, she wanted to know what she was flummoxed on how they were able to get Sky Moore so wide open with the wrong formation. And I had to explain. I mean, you want to talk about, I thought to myself, okay, I got to really make this simple. And I'm up on the TV with the pencil going, how many people are on the line of scrimmage, that 5-yard line? And she goes, well, there's 7 of them. I go, yes, you got to have 7 on the line of scrimmage. If you have 6, it's a penalty. You can only go in motion if you're off the line of scrimmage. And we're going with covering guys up. And she's like, well, why didn't they just have one guy step over that? And I goes like, then MDS is covered up. He can't go around. She's like, well, why? And I said, that's the rule. Like we were getting real into the weeds.
Get into the nitty gritty.
I felt like I was a coach at that point in time. It was a lot of fun. But watch the documentary. It's a lot of fun. It really is. So we'll get to our top 4. Technically, our top 4 Be your first alternate, I guess. Would be number 4.
Yeah, what?
Would be number 4. All right, let's hear some from some Chiefs, some rookies. The rookie training camp started today. We will first begin with Rashee Rice, the wide receiver out of SMU.
How hard was it today?
I'm just kidding. It was I mean, it was, as expected. Coach, they always tell us to come be in shape. Our wide receivers, this is like a track team as far as, our wide receiver group. So we come knowing that we got to be expected to run as long as till the game is over, till practice is over.
Was there anything about today that surprised you, that you were like, oh, wow, this is a little more typical than I thought, or something of that nature?
A little bit. I mean, we were a little, short as far as the receiver group had about 5 receivers. So, I mean, as expected, we were going to get tired, and they kind of helped in any way just to kind of let us get a little break in between certain reps and stuff like that.
Andy's camp is known to be pretty hard. What did you do in preparation as far as conditioning goes?
During the summer or our little break, I was meeting up with Shane Bouchel, every day, every morning, just running routes and like kind of basically putting the ball each half so we could basically work our own kind of 2-minute drill so I could be in shape and prepare for this.
What are some of the things Shane taught you during that time that maybe specific to what to expect here?
Not necessarily what to expect, but he just kind of taught me about like what's going through Pat's mind as far as me running a play and what he's looking at as far as, how the defense is moving and where he would want me to be on certain plays.
Was that in Texas?
Yes.
Okay, Dallas area.
Sometimes we were at Arlington, sometimes we were at SMU at our old college.
Rashee, we got to see what you had for breakfast out there. Did Coach Reed say anything? Anybody say anything to you?
Nah. I mean, like I said, he's expecting us to be able to run as long as we can. And I told them, like, to be honest with y'all, I don't mind puking. That just means I'm working as hard as I can so that I won't puke no more and be ready for the games.
When was the last time you had a practice like that where you may have left more on the field than you wanted?
Probably fall camp in college.
And what was that feeling like to go through that?
A lot easier than this, but I mean, when that happened, I mean, we got to practice in the indoor in college. Out here, no, you already know.
What was it like having Pacheco out there supporting you guys during 7-on-7 team?
It was great just because during OTAs, I know that he wanted to be out there a lot. So him just running down that hill and being ready to just do the warm-up, like he moving as fast as he can just in the warm-up. And we could just tell he's excited to be on the field right now.
What's your adjustment been like? You obviously moved to a new city. You're all settled in Kansas City. You're not going to be back there for like a month. Have you gotten all that stuff in order?
Yeah, I'm all settled. Everything's good.
Yeah. What have you liked about the town so far? I know you've been home to Texas quite a bit.
It's a little bit like Fort Worth, Texas, to be honest. Missouri, I mean, it's not too different from Texas. And, I went to high school in Fort Worth. So, I mean, it's nothing to adjust.
You had this local fun here with Felix. You've been nice to the other rookies.
Yeah, he invited me to his house. He got a nice little sky view, but we're not going to talk about that too much.
Rashee, just to be clear, do you feel like you're prepared for this camp? I mean, obviously to have it happen today in the first one, and it's going to get tougher. Do you feel like you're prepared just physically for this whole thing?
Yeah, 100%. I lost a lot of weight during the off time we had just so I could come back and be lighter on my feet. And honestly, out here, it's just me trying to hydrate as much as I can just because I know I was going to sweat a lot doing all the running I was doing today.
You did lose some weight between then and now?
Yeah, I did.
Where is talk about Coach Reed's playbook? How have you dove into that a lot yet?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, meeting with Shane, during that little break, he gave me kind of a head start just because he's a QB and he can't really take a break from the playbook. And then every day I'm gonna be meeting with Shane in his dorm just to go over plays before the next day. So I'll be prepared.
When you say you lost a lot of weight, is it like another 10 pounds? What's kind of the range that you want to be at for this?
Yeah, so OTAs, I was about 212 to 215. And now I'm about I'm 200 pounds right now, so I lost a good amount.
All right. We talked about beige flags and red flags. Okay. This is a dark, reddish beige flag now.
Like maroon?
Yeah.
Like a mahogany?
It's not red yet, but it ain't brown either, right? Okay, you heard him say right now he weighs around 200 pounds. What did he weigh at the combine?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm going to tell you. 204. What did he tell you that he was weighing this summer?
I couldn't tell you.
He just told you 214 pounds. Buddy, why did you gain 10 pounds during the most important offseason of your entire life?
Yeah, well, that's not good.
No, that's my point.
Yeah.
Like, so my initial thought was when I first heard this, when it was being recorded, or when it was we were recording it at around 10:55, was, oh, okay, he lost weight from the combine. He tried to get his weight up at the combine to look bigger. Understandable. We know that, you know. Bama quarterback Bryce Young tried to do that, right? No, he weighed 204, and then got fatter, and that then you try to lose. Like, whenever you're a wide receiver and you're trying to lose weight, that's a red flag to me, because wide receivers don't really need to lose weight. You run enough to whereas you just play at what you feel you are comfortable with. If you were at 6'1", 204 pounds at the combine, that should be your ideal weight, because that's the most important job interview that you have your entire life. You need to be at that spot. Now, I will say this. I try to look at all angles. The combine is not true football. You are not in football shape at the combine, but your weight needs to be pretty specific. And all of a sudden, you got up to 214 pounds, and now you lost it to get back to 204? The hell was you doing to gain 4? Do you know how hard it is for a wide receiver to gain 10 pounds from April to June before you lose it? That's hard. I bet you his metabolism is at like a 950 on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, do you know how hard it was for me to gain weight in college?
Apparently hard.
I could eat nothing but protein shakes and gain half a pound. Like, that's not, it's not a red flag, but it's not nothing that you had to lose 10 pounds before you got even to your very first training camp. And maybe I'm being way too hard. Am I being too hard?
I think you're being a little hard.
Okay.
Like, is it great that Rasheed put on weight between the combine and rookie minicamp, and now he's having it? Like, it would be one thing if he was still up, like still at 214 or whatever. Like, if Andy had called him out, which he did. I mean, Andy was as close to calling a guy out as he ever is.
I think he straight up did call him out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's kind of.
Without being like really mean about it. But Andy basically said he was out of shape, and that's the problem. Like, he needs to work on that. If he took that from, because what was rookie minicamp, May something?
Yeah, around there.
Like, if he took that, it was like, all right, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna come to training camp in a little better shape. And he, you know, even if he's not 204 right now, but if he's dropped it down, like he recognized after being told by his head coach that gaining the weight was a problem, and you got to be in good shape. You got to be ready to go. You know, we run things in a physical way. I need my receivers at peak shape. If he hears that, if he's only got to be told it once, and then he's working on it and trying to get there, that's all that matters. Like, I think the only thing is just how quickly we're going to get there and how seriously is he taking it. But it seems like he's taken that message to heart. And whether he's doing it the most optimal way, whether he's, you know, slipping up occasionally, that's their own things. It seems like for Rasheed, he understands, I got to be in my good playing weight.
This is not normal for a wide receiver to gain 10 pounds, to lose 10 pounds in the span of about 4 months. In the most important off season. I don't want to put it out there because he hasn't played a single snap, and maybe I'm being too aggressive in this, and I understand that. This isn't normal. Wide receivers don't just gain, like you didn't see, you know, like anyone like Juju's not even doing that. The bigger wide receivers, you know, like they're not gaining 10 pounds all of a sudden and losing it like that. That's just not normal. But conditioning problems, got a little bit overweight at times, and maybe that tells me he's going to get overweight. He can get overweight easily. And 10 pounds to a wide receiver
matters.
Go ask, Richie James to carry a 10-pound weight on him and run around at practice. He can be a little slower, yes. Got a little Breland Speaks feeling right now.
I mean,
when it comes to this,
I get where you're going with it.
I'm not trying to say he is, but let's put it this way. If he has a real bad rookie year,
yeah,
I don't think it's going to be because of, he went Sky Moore and just couldn't get it. I think it's going to be for a different reason.
We'll see. It's also one day of training camp.
Correct. You are correct.
Let's give him some time.
I feel like I'm trying to play both sides.
I know you are.
Hammer on him.
Yeah.
He seems to be having a good. I mean, he came in, joking like,
it's like I'm good.
All right. Yeah. Cool. We'll talk a little Royals, talk a little documentary, and then Kellis Robinett will join us to talk a little K-State football. It is hour number 2 here on Mic'd Up. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake and Fulton Caster with you. It is a Victory Wednesday. Royals get the win. What a wild game it was last night.
That game was nuts.
If you had a ticket to last night's game, boy, you had a good one. Down 2-0 to start things off, then up 6-2. Then you're taking care of business, going to the top of the ninth, feeling like everything's
groovy,
gonna be all right. And then a 4 spot.
And Scott Barlow makes it interesting.
Yeah. We got a lot to get to. We're going to talk with Kellis Robinett on all things K-State, get his thoughts from Big 12 football media days, thoughts on the Cats, what Chris Kleiman had to say. That's coming up. We got our Chiefs headlines, start, bench, cut, all that coming up here on this edition of Mic'd Up. Let us know. Hit us up. Who do you want to see in the new document series next year, quarterback? Who do you want? I've changed my list already because I did a little digging.
Oh, no.
And I found an answer that I'm interested in.
Okay.
So I have changed it.
Okay.
I have. Let us know. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Check us out on YouTube. Go to our website as well. Sports on 580 on YouTube, 580www.com. The Royals won yesterday. We're going to give away Royals tickets again today. That's just how it works. And let's do that right now.
All right.
Let's do it right now. I kind of want to do caller 11 because the Royals scored 11 runs yesterday. 11. Without a single home run.
Yeah.
That's got to be a record for the Royals, at least this year. 11 runs with no homers.
Potentially. I'd have to do some digging.
You just don't normally see that.
No.
I wonder what the most runs scored in Major League Baseball without a home run.
Would have to do some digging.
It can't be more than 15.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Like 11 without a home run is
That's
wild.
true.
It really, really is.
That's true.
But the Royals did get the win yesterday.
Do you want to go with caller number 11, Jake? What do you want to go with?
We could go with caller number 2. As they're trying to win 2 games in a row. But are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's do caller number 2.
Okay.
Trying to win back to
Okay.
back. All right.
All right.
Royals tickets. Game of your choice. 785-272-9429. There was some good and some bad yesterday for the Royals. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. The Royals need to trade Scott Barlow, and they need to do it RFN, ASAP, PDQ, all of those acronyms that mean quickly. You need to trade Scott Barlow. Should have been done already. You traded Aroldis Chapman. Trade Scott Barlow. Relievers have a shelf life. He gave up 4 earned runs, walked 3 batters, and only had 1 K. Why are you risking this? Every time that you trot out Scott Barlow, 3 things can happen. 2 of them are bad. I don't remember which coach it was back in the day, but this just goes to show you that times have changed in the NFL. But it was a run heavy coach. I don't know if it was Bum or who it was. I don't remember who it was, but he said 3 things can happen when you throw the football, and 2 of them are bad. Interception or incomplete. That's bad. Only one good thing happens when you throw the football. It's a completion, right? Right now, there are 3 things that can happen for the Royals and Scott Barlow. 2 of them are bad. The good, he pitches well. The other 2 that are bad, 1, he sucks, like last night, and 2, he gets hurt. Trade Scott Barlow. Trade him. Yesterday, today, tomorrow, they need to trade him. Traded. You should have traded him the same day you traded Aroldis Chapman.
There might have been not a deal they liked on the table at that point.
Well, I'm gonna need them to trade Scott Barlow here quicker than what they're doing.
I would prefer it too, but I'd also prefer them to not just take whatever comes to them.
That's the risk that you're taking.
I'll add this as well because, Scott Barlow has a bad outing. People fired off texts on the internet. Last night stunk. Like, Scott had a real bad outing, didn't have his command. It was off. Gave up 4 runs. The fact of the matter is, prior to that, Scott Barlow for the past 2.5 months had an ERA under 3.
So then what are we waiting on?
We have to stop pretending that deals are as simple as you pick up the phone, say, hey, Joe, I want to trade you this guy, and 5 minutes later you have a deal. It is so much more complicated than that.
Or are they making it complicated?
No, they aren't. It is trade making is not as simple as the guys in the grandma's basement playing MLB The Show want to make it. Like, and this is not a shot at you specifically.
No,
this is an overall thing
it doesn't bother me.
Because when it comes to trade season, everyone goes, well, just trade them. It's not as simple as that. It's as simple as you need to, find a willing partner. And if you have multiple willing partners, you need to try and get the best deal, which includes many long days of wheeling and dealing.
What the Royals are doing right now is what a lot of people do when they put money in the stock market. That's what it is. Right now, that stock could be going up, could be going up, could be going up, could be going up, right? And you got to figure out when is the best time to sell, right? Ready? Scott Barlow is Bitcoin. Okay. Scott Barlow has been Bitcoin. Very good, right? Been good.
Yeah.
What if what if his peak was, the game was yesterday too. What if his peak was Monday night and now he's going downhill? Because now the next time he goes out there, gives up 4 earned runs. The next time he goes out there, gives up a couple hits. I'm not saying he's going to, but hold on. Okay. But I'm not saying he isn't either.
You're playing the game.
Exactly.
And I will say, you are not wrong in the idea that the longer you have a guy on your team that you're planning to trade, and the more times you run him out there before trading, it affects his stock every time it goes out there. The thing is, with the longer track record than just last night, there are going to be some teams who see last night and maybe lower their price a little bit. It's not going to, like, his outing last night did not alter his stock as dramatically as some people want to make it seem like it did.
To me, it's not just about last night. It's now predicting the future. And that's why I say it's like the stock market. Everybody thought that, Bitcoin and Dogecoin and
not Dogecoin if you had a brain in your skull.
All
but no, I get your point. And
because the reason his stock will go down is if in 2 days
if he keeps playing poorly.
He takes point. And now they're in the, there are 2 ways to look at this. It is the process and results. Baseball people follow process. They do. Fans follow results.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the second biggest difference between, baseball or just the team in general and fans. The biggest disconnect I can't believe is that fans are on the side of owners for like contracts and stuff.
Yeah, that's stupid and weird.
Can't believe
that's weird.
That's why I'm just like, pay Chris Jones' money.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what we're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fans care about results. They don't care how the sausage is made. They don't. They just know that at the end, the process to me of the Royals going for it to me in 16 and 17 to me was totally fine. One last run for it. You had a above 500 record in 14, 15, 16, 17. You were in it. I had no problem with them going for it instead of trading everybody, right? I have no problem with that. Some people say that process was bad, right? The result was it didn't work because they didn't even make the playoffs. They didn't even have an over 500 record. The process for everything that they do might be right now.
The results aren't there yet.
But the results are not there, and that's why no one cares about the Royals. So, but there were some good things last night.
There were a lot of good things last night. Scored 11 runs.
Well, some of it, like the Blanco guy, like Blanco's not going to be part of the future.
I want to say this on Dairon Blanco real quick. Is he a core member of the future? No, he's 30. Is he potentially a piece that does get interesting if he keeps playing incredibly well?
Are you saying
yes?
Like trade bait
potentially?
See, like Olivares getting back healthy and hitting, that you can trade him.
Yeah,
like I don't know if there's a market.
Dairon Blanco,
for Blanco,
if he shows being and like they probably won't trade him this year because there's not going to have big enough sample size. Let's say Dairon Blanco finishes this year playing at the big league level, hits like 270. Let's say he does that. Great runner, elite defender. Say hello to a fourth outfielder that every team wants. Even at 30, even at that point, probably close to 31. Some championship team just, just touch up their window. Just they really want an extra bat, and mainly they want an elite pinch runner for the stretch run. I give you Dairon Blanco. You're not getting a lot for it, but you're getting a little bit. Like Dairon Blanco doing well is not there's something there. It's in the level of he himself is not a core piece, but depending on what he does, it can help create something that becomes a useful piece.
Okay, I will say this. I'd rather have Nick Prado or Melendez go the 4 for 4 route.
That is 100% correct. Yes,
If you had to tell me right now, hey, Jake, in 2 years, Dairon Blanco, boy, he's going to be awesome. I'm going to be like,
yeah, he's 32.
No, that ain't going to happen.
No, I get your point on that front. 100% with you. I'd much rather be Prado or MJ or whatever. But offensively, guys did well. Michael Garcia driving in for a career high 4 RBI.
That's awesome.
That's a good sign.
That's
the team winning with Bobby going 0 for 5 is always nice to see. Yeah. Now, the debut of Daniel Lynch IV did not go well at all.
No.
But did you know Daniel Lynch is now the first person to be the 4th at the big league level? There's never been a major leaguer with the 4th as a part of their jersey. Ever. Huh. Not once. There's never been the 4th.
No IV, huh?
Nope.
Lynch IV. Interesting. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, no, found that out with the broadcast last night when I found out that Daniel added Daniel Lynch IV to it.
He's been thinking about it for a while.
He has. He apparently wanted to do it the moment he got called up, but didn't want to step on anyone's toes. He didn't want to bother anyone to change anything. He didn't want to. It's like, how many athletes have you and I known as we've done this business where, we learn like years later, they're like, oh, my name's actually pronounced this. And we're like, why didn't you say anything? And they're like, well, I don't want to bother anyone. It's like, no, it's your name. Yeah, no, that's entirely, he's wanted this for forever. And then he apparently had a long talk with his dad on the Father's Day trip. And his dad was like, if you want to do this, just do it. Like, if you want, I still hold. If Dan's going to change the name he goes by, Daniel Lynch IV is fine. You're missing a golden opportunity by not using the middle name. Aloysius Lynch. That right there is the crafty lefty from 1936 who won like 8 Cy Youngs.
Hey, I've called you Aloysius before.
Yes. The fact that Daniel Lynch's middle name is Aloysius is one of my favorite facts, and I'm not like I respect the Daniel Lynch IV thing, wants to honor his family, whatever. Too big influence his life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he missed a chance to become Aloysius Lynch.
So can I start saying Fulton Anthony Castor?
No, because that's not my middle name.
I'm gonna keep guessing though.
What's fun is it's if you know me even a little bit about you can start really narrowing it down if you just know more about me.
Is it Allen?
Nope. I don't know why you think it's an A.
I don't know.
I'll give you that hint. It's not an A.
Oh, wow. Great.
25 more letters to go.
Well, it's not a Q or a Z or an X. So really, we're working at probably like
there you go.
20
You can start
letters.
figuring it out.
Probably not an I, probably not an O,
There
probably
you go.
not an E.
There you go. Look at that.
You were looking at probably like 15 letters.
Look at that. You're starting to figure it out.
There's a lot though. There's and I don't know, maybe you got one of them names now that's unique. Maybe your middle name is is like a lot of people name their kids Caden now. Maybe you're Fulton Caden Casper.
If you knew my father, you would know how far from that ever being a reality would be.
Last night though,
it was fun.
There were 12 teams that scored.
Yeah, it was a weird night of baseball.
10 or more runs. Did you realize that last night was the highest scoring day in Major League Baseball history?
I believe I did learn that upon seeing everything. I also learned there were 4 different games that finished 11-10.
Cubs, D-backs, Twins, Braves, Royals, Giants, Mets, Reds, Tigers, Dodgers, Cleveland, and the White Sox.
All scored 10+.
Almost half the league scored double-digit runs.
It was weird.
The highest scoring day in Major League Baseball history. I believe that's what I saw from stats and from the baseball folk. How about that?
It was awesome.
And the Royals were one of them.
Yeah, they were nearly one of the ones that didn't have both teams scoring in double-digit runs. And then, the ninth inning happened.
I was saying, then the Royals also helping out the Tigers by scoring 10.
It was, I can't lie, a big fun of last night was Darren Blanco missing the cycle by 6 inches. That was hilarious. I thought that ball was gone off the bat. I want to make that very clear. I was sitting in my apartment watching that game, and I audibly yelped, out loud shouted, because I thought off the bat that was gone.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
How wild would it be? Because the Royals have gone the longest in baseball.
33 years.
19
I think we're 6 days away, 5 or 6 days away from the 34th anniversary.
Yeah, because 1980.
Yep.
No.
1990.
1990. Yeah, 1990. Because George Brett did.
Yep, George Brett.
Last one.
Yep.
Every other franchise has gotten a cycle, and it would have been
Tyrone Blanco. Would have been, especially because Bobby's been halfway to the cycle twice this past week.
Yeah.
Just this past week, Drew and Bobby each had a home run and a triple their first 2 at bat. The 2 hardest legs.
Alrighty. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I think the Royals are going to win the next 2 games and have their first 3-game winning streak.
You're a psychopath. Do I need to get you checked?
Tigers are not playing. I'm telling you, I think
I need to get you checked.
I think the Royals are going to win their next 2 games.
Everybody, Jake's going to take a few days off while I have him committed to an institution.
And they're going to end up with their first 3-game winning streak.
Yeah, you need help. Even me is telling you that.
No, I'm telling you.
So you think they're beating Eduardo Rodriguez tonight?
Yep.
And then whatever happens on Thursday, they're winning.
Yes.
Where they don't even know their starting pitcher yet.
Yeah, I vibes.
The Royals literally don't know who's even throwing Thursday. There's 3 options.
Vibes.
Who are the Tigers throwing out on Thursday? Michael Lorenzen.
Yeah.
So they're 1 All-Star.
This is it, baby. I can feel it.
Okay. That's not happening, but okay.
Coming up next, who do we want on the next year's season of quarterback? All righty, everyone loves the war. Who do we want in next year's quarterback? Who would you be interested in? What do you got?
Number 4 for me, a.k.a., if we're going by a certain system here, my first alternate, Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't mind seeing what Jalen Hurts is doing. A little rise is here, immediately following the Super Bowl, essentially, because we're on the impression this is filming is already underway and it's for this season. I think Jalen Hurts could be interesting.
My number 4, we're gonna get a little bit of it, and maybe I need to change it. And now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it right now.
Oh, we're changing on the fly. We're calling it audible.
I had Aaron Rodgers.
But we're going to get that with Hard Knocks.
We're going to get that with Hard Knocks. Yeah, I just realized that. Yeah. So I am going to go with Tua.
Oh, Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tuanon.
Okay.
Number 4, Tua.
Okay. My 3 through 1. So what I would create, I kind of went on the similar structure that they did for this quarterback of superstar player, mid-level quarterback who's kind of good but has some issues. The guy who's kind of a journeyman backup. I went with those 3 and picked some guys I liked would fit those criteria. So number 3, a.k.a. the mid-level guy who's kind of good, but who knows? Dak Prescott. I think it'd be interesting to see what follow around Dak around a little bit. And that Kirk Cousins role.
My number 3, Matt Stafford.
Okay, let's stat Padford.
The reason why, 1, you get a little Sean McVay.
Yeah.
2, you get L.A. 3, you get him coming off a serious injury.
Yeah.
Just see how he handles all of that.
Okay.
I think that's interesting about Matt Stafford. I really, really do. So I got Matt Stafford.
Number 2 for me. I promise this is not just for jokes and how much I like this man just in general, but because this really kind of fits the Mariota vibe they did, but I think this would be more entertaining and more interesting. Gardner Minshew. Going to the Colts, chance to be the starter. Anthony Richardson right there.
Yep.
He's a big personality.
I'm with you.
This is more than just memes. I really think Gardner could be legitimately interesting.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And also I just love Gardner Minshew and love to know about Gardner.
And the whole situation with Anthony Richardson. I think that's a good.
There's storyline there.
I like that one, Fulton. Number
Netflix, call me.
Number 2 for me, simply for the fact I want a guy who's dating. Josh Allen.
All right.
He's been rumored to be with Haley Steinfeld now.
You need the relationship drama.
Yeah, I want to know what it's like to be one of the most, I can't have Jimmy G.
You can't have Jimmy G.
But Josh Allen, he's one of the best out there. And now, he might be living the Hollywood life.
I feel it. My number 1 was the easiest pick for me. You went from, if you're going to have the best quarterback in the NFL be a part of the show, you should have the second best quarterback in the NFL be a part of the show. It's Joe Burrow. He fits the Mahomes role.
And this might be because of I don't need to know about Joe Burrow. That's just me.
I know, that's just you. That's fine.
Yeah. Number 1 for me, I want to know about this. Justin Fields.
Okay.
1, he's a vegan. That's interesting. Playing this game. 2, just what the situation is with the Bears. I think that's interesting. Yeah. So Justin Fields. Coming up next, we are going to talk with Kellis Robinett. We'll get to our Chiefs headlines coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. We are on Chiefs headline number 3. Tomorrow will be number 2. And then Friday, the number 1 headline going into Chiefs training camp. Still no Chris Jones signing. I'm just waiting, for the social media world. Is it Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero, Adam Schefter, somebody to tweet out Chris Jones getting the bag. Just waiting for it. So we'll get to that coming up in the 2:00 hour. But right now, we're going to talk all things K-State as we head to the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone line. We bring in Kellis Robinett of the Wichita Eagle and the Kansas City Star. Kellis, how are you doing on this Wednesday afternoon?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Kellis, what is the one big takeaway that you got, or maybe two big takeaways that you got from Brett Yormark down at Big 12 Media Days? What interested you the most?
The two things probably that stuck out to me were one, just kind of how cloak and dagger all of a sudden he wants to be with the thought of expansion. He's been pretty open in the past about, talking to Gonzaga, maybe considering UConn, maybe looking at rating the Pac-12 for some of those schools. And then down there in Arlington, he was really non-committal about anything. He's even said previously that he wanted to have 14 teams next season, even after Texas and Oklahoma leave, and backtracked from that. So also said they have a plan, and he hopes to act on it, just doesn't want to talk about it right now. So I'm not quite sure what any of that exactly means. I guess we'll all just wait to see what happens with the Pac-12 and their media deal, and then go from there. And then maybe the only other thing I kind of took away from his big, long address was I'm just, I don't know. I've been kind of underwhelmed with him as a commissioner the last couple of months. He'll always be the guy who came in and got the conference a great TV deal and outflanked the Pac-12 and brought stability to the league. And maybe that's enough to, give him a lifetime contract or whatever. It's a very important thing that he did, but I haven't been the biggest fan of anything he's done since then. I'm not sure how holding, coaching clinics in New York and moving games to Mexico and all this stuff is actually helping the league in any way. So kind of underwhelmed. Hate to criticize the man, but a little underwhelmed in that regard.
Do you think they will expand? And his we have a plan and we want to execute it. Is that kind of still that they will get bigger? The Big 12 will get bigger. It's just we don't know, how soon or how many. Because it still sounds like we're wanting to expand. We just don't know who yet.
I think it really depends on what happens in the Pac-12. By all the media accounts I've read, it seems like Colorado is very much on the fence with what they want to do. It's kind of funny to me that the Big 12 would be so interested in Colorado. They're more or less Kansas without basketball anymore, as bad as they've been since they left the Pac-12. But, they got Deion Sanders. They used to be in the Big 12, and that could really be a crippling move for the Pac-12. So I guess I see why they want him. If the Pac-12 doesn't have the greatest news on their media deal, then I think that there's a real good possibility that the Big 12 looks west and expands. The question then would be who could they bring to expand along with Colorado? Would it be like Arizona, San Diego State, something like that? Or would you go east and do UConn? I personally don't think that there's a whole lot of support for UConn outside of that. Just Brett Yormark really likes them, and they're in the New York market. So we'll see. So I guess we'll just, I don't know when we're ever going to get a Pac-12 announcement on anything, but I think it's all kind of wait and see until then.
All right. The one thing that did interest me is you're already seeing it this year with both KU and K-State. Friday games. KU's playing back-to-back ones. K-State's got a Friday game against Oklahoma State. And he did say in his fireside chat, if you will, that, yes, we will explore Thursday and Friday games because there's open spots for national broadcasts. Not a lot goes on a Friday night. I don't like Friday night games because I think that should be reserved for high school. That's just me as a fan. But as a businessman, which we know that's what Brett Yormark is, he's a promoter. I get it. You get more people watching potentially. It's on ESPN instead of, ESPN Plus. That makes sense. Do you think we will start seeing a lot more games on Thursdays and Fridays?
maybe not a lot, but definitely some. I thought the best point he made there, and I'm glad you brought this up because I did find this interesting, was that he said one of the great advantages to playing on, say, a Thursday night or a Friday night as opposed to Saturday, and obviously there's going to be a bigger audience to get a better time slot. He also pointed out that early in the season, it's very hot in this part of the country, and it might be advantageous for certain schools to play at 7 p.m. on a Friday night, 8 p.m. on a Thursday night, something like that, as opposed to 11 a.m. or 1 on a Saturday. And I actually really do get that. You know what? As long as it's not, just constant every single week somebody's playing on Friday, I don't have the biggest problem with it. I think as long as you spread it out and every team is playing there equally, I do think it's an okay deal. I'm with you. Overall, I don't love the idea of playing on weekdays. I think that's time for high school players, and it hurts colleges because they can't bring recruits in for visits. And really, I think it hurts the fans because, especially for a school like Kansas State, to a lesser extent Kansas, where you've got most of your fan base traveling in from out of town, it really is hard to tailgate on a Friday night, much harder to tailgate on a Thursday. Whereas Saturday, you can build your whole day around and have a little bit more fun. So do I like weekday games? No. Am I in favor of them, like once every other year or something like that? I think you could make that work and could be valuable for the conference. So I definitely see why they're exploring that.
I talked to a few coaches, and the away teams on Friday nights, fine, great. We get an extra day off the next day, or an extra day to prepare, because away teams can't bring in recruits on Friday nights or on Saturdays because they're on the road. They can't recruit to there. So they say that it hurts for Friday night games because then those Friday nights they can't get the players there because they're playing.
Right. And the one thing I would say is if you're going to do it, I would advise to just make sure that whoever you're spacing out who is hosting these Thursday and Friday night games. Now, the Big 12 has done this before. Not every school has done it, but we've seen Thursday and Friday games in the past from a lot of schools. But whenever they would do that, I always found it a little annoying for the rest of the league. The Texas and Oklahoma were never asked to move their games to Thursday or Friday, right? They were always protected. They could be Saturday. Their home games were untouched, but everybody else had to do it. So hopefully in the new Big 12, where there aren't two teams that just kind of reign supreme over everybody else, they can space that out a little bit better.
Talking with Kellis Robinett of the Wichita Eagle and the Kansas City Star here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits phone lines. You can check him out on Twitter at Kellis Robinett. All right, did you learn anything football-wise about the Cats down there in Dallas?
Yeah, I think I learned a few things. I really loved the quiet confidence that Kansas State players took in there. I also was impressed to see that nobody was wearing their pre-12 championship ring outside of Kenny Lemieux, their SID. He was showing his off, but the coach and the players, were very much like, hey, that was last year. We're looking forward to what we can do next season. I think that's a great approach. It's maybe not what I would do if I were them. I think if I won the Big 12, I would be in there trying to show off as much as possible the fact that I did it. So I was impressed by that. It's a small move, but I think it shows where the team's head is at. And Kobe Savage is very healthy, ready to play.
Yeah, that's wild that he's at full go already.
I know. I mean, to go from a torn ACL, what was the last season against Baylor, to being full go in early June, that's a very quick turnaround for him. Very good to the defense. I would also say that I was just impressed overall with the size that Will Howard has put on. He looks like a tight end. If you didn't know he was a quarterback, you really wouldn't think he would play that position. But I think that size will come in handy for him next season. So, hey, it's Big 12 Media Day. Nobody's practiced. Nobody's played a game yet. So there's not really anything negative to talk about. But I did like the way they handled themselves. They were quiet confidence would be a good term to use there, and I think that's the right way to go about it.
There were a couple guys that their name did get mentioned a lot by the players. Ward is one of them, and every one of them said the same thing, that he's got a little Deuce Vaughn qualities to him, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. I didn't get to watch him do much of anything in practice because he was nursing some injuries and want to risk him getting injured. So I'm very excited to see what he can do next. I've gone back and watched some of his film at Florida State just because people won't stop talking about how good he is. And yeah, I see it. He's a valuable weapon in the open field, especially if you get the ball to him as a receiver. I'm excited to see what he can do, but I will ask everybody pump the brakes a little bit. I mean, down there in Arlington, people were borderline trying to say he'd come in and be just as good as Deuce. That's ridiculous. That's not going to happen. But I am excited to see what he can do.
Any other players that were there that they said a name a couple different times that you now will be looking forward to?
The main names I heard were more like, developmental guys, not necessarily players you would see playing a big role next season. But Austin Romaine, a freshman, a true freshman linebacker, I heard his name quite a few times. And honestly, I was not expecting that. I'd kind of forgotten that he was even a newcomer on the roster. So I've already gone ahead and circled his name as somebody who could contribute down the line. And then also sticking at linebacker, I think we're going to see more than just Daniel Green and the other players we've seen there before. I think it's just a really deep group. And the other name that really not necessarily surprised me, but it was a good sign that Coach Kleiner, when I was going to say his name, Uso Tuyamalo. Thank goodness, I hope I'm saying his last name correctly. But it seems like they are very, very confident in what he can do. I've heard a lot of good things behind the scenes that he's got all the athleticism in the world. He's lost something like 30 pounds and is going to be a little bit leaner this year. So people out there who are thinking, well, Eli Huggins has gone for the defensive line. They've got a pretty good, at least capable replacement waiting there to take over. So that was a good sign.
Yeah, they mentioned the size of him a few different times from both the players and Chris Kleiman. Yeah, I think that's well said. When it comes to the Big 12 and what you kind of get a feel for, have you decided on who's going to win the Big 12 and play in the Big 12 title game?
Well, truth be told, I've gone with a little bit of a contrarian pick in the Big 12. For the first time ever, I've never picked this team to win the Big 12 before, but the first time ever, I've got my guns up. I think Texas Tech is a really dangerous sleeper out there with the offense they've got coming back. They've got some really underrated transfers coming in. Their center from Western Kentucky, I think, is and very overlooked as somebody who's going to come in and help them. They've got a new OC who I really like. I think they could be this year's version of TCU or Kansas State, who just surprises people and gets them the Big 12 championship and wins. And then the team they play, I hate to do this because I don't necessarily believe in this team, but I just look at their schedule and it's so easy. Oklahoma. It really pains me to say that, but you look at their schedule, where are they going to lose? Other than Texas, they don't have to play Kansas State. They don't have to play Texas Tech. They got a great gift there. If they can put together any semblance of a defense, I think we could see Tech and OU in the championship game and leave Texas crying once again.
No, I'm with you. I think Oklahoma has a terrific schedule. I'm right there with you. I think they've got a great shot at being in the Big 12 title game. So I'm with you 100%. All right. Last two for the road. Have you been following, have you watched the Netflix documentary Quarterback that Patrick Mahomes is in?
I actually finished the 8th and final episode this morning before I went on my morning run. So yes, I'm prepared to discuss it.
Well, I'll ask you this. This is not, I wasn't going to discuss it with you, but since you have, what was your number one takeaway from the show?
Well, the first thing I noticed was I think all three of those football players said we're only doing this if you promise to put our wives on screen as much as humanly possible. But by the end, I was getting a little sick of Kirk Cousins' wife. I didn't need her commentary from like the playoff game. I don't know if you noticed that, but there was a lot of wives time on there. Not necessarily that it was all bad. By the end, it was a little extreme. It was neat to see exactly how much Patrick Mahomes had to work on himself to stay stay fit and able to play through his ankle injury. I thought that was pretty revealing. And then also Kirk Cousins to me kind of came off as a big weirdo. I think he probably signed off on a little bit too much stuff with like the brain thing he put on his head that shocked him every time he like tried to fall asleep or something. That just struck me as really weird. And it also surprised me that he said he takes every Tuesday off to go on a walk with his wife and then read books at Barnes and Noble. Like, wow, what a wild and crazy guy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So my question then is, Kellis, how about this? You just became executive producer of the documentary Quarterback. You get to pick 3 quarterbacks to do this next year. Who are you picking?
Well, I'll probably start off with Josh Allen. He's just apparently started a romance with Haley Steinfeld.
Yes, yes, that's what I said too. He's a Hollywood guy now.
Man, both you going with that as the reason is hilarious.
Yes. I would. Well, I mean, if we have to have this significant other on the screen, perhaps it's not. I'd much rather see that than something else.
Kellis, that's fair.
Otherwise, I mean, you put me on the spot here, but like Aaron Rodgers, first season in New York, that would certainly be interesting. And if he'd actually, let you in and show you exactly how he's a weirdo, that would be interesting. And I don't know, maybe Derek Carr going to a new team, that could be interesting. There's really no quarterback I would like say, hey, I really don't want to know more about this person. But those are 3 names that jump out to me. But or maybe Burrow. Maybe Burrow. He had to see himself lose at the end there. Maybe that could be interesting. So, but yes, Allen would be my number 1 vote.
Kellis, you're our number 1 vote. That's for sure. We appreciate the time, Kellis. Thank you so much. And when does K-State report? When's technically their report date?
I don't know if they have it set in stone yet, but early August they'll be here ready to go.
Kellis, we appreciate the time. Have yourself a great rest of the week.
Hey, you too. Thanks for having me on.
Kellis Robinett, Wichita Eagle, and the Kansas City Star. I need a single guy. I need somebody out. It'd be even better if he wasn't seen, like a true bachelor. Now maybe.
Well, that's what we do with Joe Burrow.
Burrow's got a longtime girlfriend.
That's fair.
Yeah, Burrow's got a long-time girlfriend.
I forget about Joe because it's not like, massively like out there. I just find it very funny that you and Kellis picked Josh Allen for the exact same reason.
6 days ago from the New York Post.
Oh, don't start this.
Are you trying to say the New York Post is not credible?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, do we really need to go down this rabbit hole?
Yes.
Okay.
Josh Allen, quote, really serious about new romance with Haley Steinfeld.
Good for Josh.
Yeah, very good for Josh.
I'm dead serious. Good for Josh.
So we need somebody,
I get your point. That's why I say Gardner fills that role too. You just get all the wildness with Gardner. Get the mustache.
Does Gardner have a significant other?
I don't think so, but I'm not confident in that.
I really am going to have to Google Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew significant other. Does he have one?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you one right off the.
There you go.
2022, so I don't know.
There you go. See,
Man,
two birds, one stone.
People care way too much about whether or not they're.
Yeah, they do. It's psychotic.
Coming up, we'll get to our Chiefs headlines going into training camp number 3. It is the final hour of Mic'd Up on this Victory Wednesday. That's right, the Royals getting the win. We gave away some Royals tickets last hour. Be listening. Sandra, the winner of our Royals tickets. She tell you what game she wants to go to, Fulton?
She did not. She needs time to think.
That's fine. Understandable.
Got to make sure you plan those right. When we give you the tickets, take your time. Figure out exactly what you want to do.
You get to pick the game.
Yeah, it's your call. You call it.
You want to go on a Thursday afternoon when the Royals win their very first 3-game winning streak, you can go to that one.
Jake, they're not winning 3 in a row. They're not winning 3 in a row.
If they win today, you are going to be...
They're not winning 3 in a row.
Do you think they're going to win tonight?
See, Ryan Yarborough, Eduardo Rodriguez.
Mind you that Ryan Yarborough absolutely threw darts the last time that he was out there.
I would probably put more, like, it's under 50% that they win tonight.
It's not, an egregious line here.
Like, I'd pick the Tigers probably.
Tigers minus 152.
Yeah.
Royals plus 128.
I don't know if 152 is enough value for me to, like, bet on the Tigers. I still need to be the Tigers. The Tigers are winning one of these next 2 games. At most, this series is a split. The Royals are not winning 3 in a row. I promise you that.
We're gonna find out.
Put you on.
I got a good vibe
Put
here.
your money where your mouth is.
I got a good vibe
Could
here.
do it. If you were that confident.
Yesterday was a day that I did bet the Royals to win. I bet
Good for you.
I bet Royals money line, and
That's to me. You got a little worried there in the 9th inning.
No, because I wasn't even paying attention at that point in time. Because I was watching quarterback at that time.
That's a fair point.
I was watching the QB documentary. I was too busy wondering how Patrick Mahomes is going to get healthy with his ankle.
Yeah,
there you go. As always, let us know your thoughts. Hit us up on our text line, 785-272-9429. Outside of Topeka, 785-272-9429. We're going to go start benching cuts. We will hear from Wanya Morris. We heard from Rashee Rice earlier today. We'll get to that finishing up this hour on Mic'd Up. But full camp report date is Saturday. So we are getting our top 5 headlines going into training camp. Number 5 yesterday.
Monday.
Or Monday, beg your pardon. Monday. Fulton went with the D-line rotation. And what is the rotation, particularly at the edge position? My number 5 was, what kind of rookie production are we getting in 2023? Are we getting the same as 2022, 2021? What are we getting out of these rookies? Number 4 yesterday for Fulton are the young corners taking the next step? Mine was more broad. I went with the entire sophomore class. Is it a sophomore slump, or are we talking more of a sophomore surge? Karlaftis, McDuffie, Pacheco, Watson, and Sky Moore. That's 5 starters. If those 5 starters improve, the Chiefs team is going to be damn good. Fulton, what are you going with for headline number 3?
Headline number 3 for me, I've gone defensive flavor with the first 2. And for number 3, we're sticking with the defensive flavor. We're going heavy defense this year. I think just where the questions are for the most part, at least here early. And this one, I don't know how many people are as curious about this as I am, but I am very intrigued by one particular position group, and probably the position group I'm most intrigued by on the defensive side this year. What's the plan at linebacker? You brought in Drew Tranquill,
who's really good.
Who's a great coverage linebacker.
Really good.
But Nick Bolton never comes off the field. But his biggest deficiency is Drew Tranquill's biggest strength. And then whatever happens with Willie Gay every year. And what is he doing?
Willie Gay, the true box of chocolate.
Truly, I don't know what I'm going to get Willie Gay every week. I am fascinated with the Drew Tranquill signing specifically. What do they do at linebacker?
It's only 1 year.
It is. It's only 1 year. And the biggest thing that intrigues me is it makes the most sense that Drew Tranquill takes away Nick Bolton's snaps. The problem is Nick Bolton's a tackling machine who never comes off the field. So would for 1 year the Chiefs limit his snaps for Drew Tranquill? Or if we're going to play Nick Bolton same out, Does Willie Gay's snaps get eaten into because of Drew Tranquill? He could. Drew Tranquill is much more consistent coverage linebacker than Willie Gay. Or are the Chiefs about to run more 3 linebacker sets? Are they going to go back to a more traditional 3 linebacker look? Because Drew Tranquill can kind of just be a box safety. He is a lighter linebacker, but a bigger safety. He's not that big. I don't know his exact size off the top of my head, but he's not that big.
Drew Tranquill, not that big. 6'2", 227.
For a linebacker, not that big.
I think, okay. All right.
For a linebacker, that is not. Now, great. I say that about Nick Bolton's like 5'11".
Yeah, Willie Gay, 6'1", 240. Same size as Drew Tranquill, essentially. Well, maybe not, because we said what? Drew Tranquill is 230. Willie Gay is 240.
Yep.
And then
Nick Bolton's like, what, 5'11", 220?
Nick Bolton is 5'11", 240.
240. Like, I'm not saying he's small, but like he's a lighter linebacker.
Like lighter linebacker to me is like 215.
Is there any linebacker in the NFL 215?
Fred Warner's not a big, huge guy.
He's decently sized.
He's 6'3".
Yeah.
I don't know his weight. They don't give me his weight there. He's 229.
Yeah.
But like, to me, he's average.
Yeah, but I guess more to the idea here is you could, like, he's not a big lumbering linebacker. Like Leo Chanel, who is an athletic dude, but his best move is going downhill.
Okay. Like, to me, a light linebacker is the cookie man, Matt Milano. He's 6'2", 220.
Yeah, Matt Milano's a light linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get your point. The overall thought here is Drew Tranquill is giving the Chiefs something at linebacker they haven't had in a long time, which is a really good pass coverage linebacker. So defensively, I'm just very interested to see what snaps does he take. Because you're not signing him for 1 year to sit on the bench. He is not going to be signed for 1 year to come to Kansas City from LA. To just sit on the bench and barely play. That makes no sense. So I'm fascinated on his deployment. Because either the Chiefs are going to start running more 3 linebacker sets than usual. So instead of which means Mike Edwards is losing snaps. Because instead of using a third safety, you just use a third linebacker instead to fill the same idea with the strengths of Drew Tranquill. So there's a lot of things that one particular signing does to modify and potentially mess with the way Steve Spagnuolo aligns the defense that I'm just so fascinated by what that looks like. Because the Chiefs need an ability to cover over the middle. That's why they got Drew Tranquill. Because that was a hole last year. That is Nick Bolton's one Achilles heel is he's not great in pass coverage. He tackles like a monster and is so good in the run game. But he's not a great coverage linebacker. And then Willie Gay is hot and cold. One play, Willie Gay looks amazing, and then another, it looks like he's never played football before. So because of all that, I am so interested to see what Drew Tranquill's presence in the defensive room does to so many other snap counts. Because he could affect like 5 dudes playing time.
I think it's going to be so much based on opponent and game plan.
I can see that.
I think, and even more so down in distance. 3rd and 10, Tranquill might be in there instead of Bolton. I don't know. Or maybe if it's a more run-heavy team, he plays and Edwards doesn't, flip it around. I don't know. And I don't think we're there yet, but most teams have a base defense.
Yeah.
The Chiefs could go a lot of different ways with this because of Edwards and Drew Tranquill. Nick Bolton is your green dot. Everybody talks about he's kind of the vocal leader there. But if it's 3rd and 13, maybe they run out. You don't normally see a ton of that, though, with your green dot coming off the field on
Exactly.
3rd and long. So that's a bit unusual.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is a good problem to have.
Oh, it's a great problem to have.
This is a good problem to have that, hey, we've got a bunch of versatility. We've got a bunch of guys who we think can either be good or, can do a lot of movement, piece-wise, that type of thing. So it is an interesting use. Willie Gay, I think, is not as good as most fans think he is.
150%.
Well, that's impossible because you can only do
know what I
100%.
mean.
I think Willie Gay's snap could be taken because Nick Bolton is a tackling machine, and I think the more he's out there is a good thing. Maybe they do go 3 linebackers. I normally don't think they will, but it depends on the formation, and maybe having Drew Tranquil in there is short yardage stuff, and you get Tranquil, Gay, and Bolton to get a little beefier up there. I don't know, but I think the opposite of fans, their opinion on Clyde Edwards-Helaire is that he sucks, when I don't think he's terrible. But they think Gay is really good, and I don't think he's really good. You know what I mean? Like their thought of Willie Gay is he's awesome.
Yeah, and like
he's not.
And like I say, Willie Gay has a lot of great talents. Willie Gay is the most athletic linebacker the Chiefs have. And that lends itself very well. Willie Gay's biggest problem, though, is a real big problem, and he's not consistent. There's a reason Willie Gay's snap counts are not consistently on the field. It's because he's constantly in the doghouse because he keeps screwing things up.
Yeah.
Like, Willie Gay, physically, yes, he is as good, I think, as people want him to be. But he's just not a consistent player. He's never put all the tools together consistently. Now, in a contract year, maybe he does that and presses the issue on the Chiefs a little bit more. But no, Willie Gay is Chiefs Kingdom's favorite defender that they don't see why he doesn't play as often. And it's like, well, if you watch him play consistently, he's not a consistent player. And so, therefore, he's not going to get as many snaps because the Chiefs are trying to get, they want majority of those good snaps, but they know the more snaps they play, the more bad they're going to get too.
Alrighty, my third headline this year. I'm also going on the defensive side. I'm also going on a specific position.
Oh.
I thought we were going to have the same position.
Okay.
The safety position.
Okay.
I'm interested in the safety position at number 3 for mine. And who's going to play and just how good are these guys going to be? First and foremost, Brian Cook, second-year guy. Got a lot more snaps late, but Juan Thornhill didn't sign for just peanuts in the offseason, okay? The Chiefs thought to themselves, can we sign Juan Thornhill? They could probably have brought back Juan Thornhill, but they also went with the theory of we can probably get, the same production from Brian Cook as Juan Thornhill for a tenth of the price. Thornhill signed a 3-year, $21 million deal, which is $14 million guaranteed. Okay, so he's going to be playing for the Browns for 2 years, and then he's probably going to get cut. Okay, a lot of void years there at the end all the way to 2029, so he's probably going to get cut after 2024. I don't think he was a terrible safety. I think the knee injury completely screwed him up.
Agreed.
And he got better as the year went on, got in a little, purgatory 2 years ago, played a little bit more this last year, and good for him getting $14 million guaranteed. But the Chiefs thought, you know what? He is a veteran, but we feel like Cook can get it done. Brian Cook's more of a box safety, a little bit bigger of a guy. But now he's going to be playing a lot more. That is one thing that I am interested in. When you look at, Karlaftis played a lot last year. You know, McDuffie played a lot. Watson played a lot. These are guys that played a lot of football last year. He didn't play just, a ton of football last year for the Kansas City Chiefs, and not at a premium position. He played in 32% of the snaps last year. If you go back from last year, everywhere else has got experience but the safety spot. So they're bringing in Brian Cook to take over 32% of it, right? They're bringing a brand new guy, Mike Edwards, as your third safety. Deion Bush, not a safety. Well, he's a special teams guy. He might not even make the roster.
He really might not.
But then you got Mike Edwards, really good player. Everybody talks about a ball hawk. Wow, that guy, he just is knows for the ball. He's got, he's around it all the time. But it's a first year guy getting into a system. And if there's anything that we learned about quarterback was just how much more difficult this last year was for Kirk Cousins because it was a new system. Having new coordinators is a big deal. That's the benefit of Cook, and they just wanted to get cheaper there at safety. They're not going to pay that safety spot. So you got Edwards and you've got Cook. Two, honestly, unknown. You think they can do it.
They don't know for sure.
This is an important position for the Kansas City Chiefs. They do rely on their safety. And then lastly, Justin Reed. Justin Reed is an interesting evaluation last year. I would tell you that overall, he was okay. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible, had a kind of a tougher start, but no one is going to confuse Justin Reed, at least on the reputation of the average fan, as someone like a Simmons or a Fitzpatrick or, a Derwin James. Like, who's the guy who fell down and faked the injury for the Bengals? Jesse Bates.
I love that you pick on Jesse Bates for that when he's like one of like 80 dudes that's done that in his career.
Well, it was so blatant. That's the reason that bothers me. He went full stock. He just completely tanked.
It was hilarious.
And that is smart. It is.
Yeah.
It's smart to do that in soccer. I also think it's pathetic.
Yeah.
That's just for me. So I lost a lot of respect for Jesse Bates, but he's going to be just fine moving forward. I don't even know who's playing with anymore.
Let me double check. I think the Saints.
Is it the Saints? It was with somebody who was like the Panthers.
Give me a minute.
NFC South.
Atlanta.
NFC South. I knew it was somebody like that. So he's not like that. Okay. But Justin Reed is vocal on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that. The Madden rankings have come out.
Yeah, I keep seeing those are popping out.
Justin Reed tweeted out, highest graded safety since week 11, not only in man coverage, but overall. Madden gotta be blind right now. Lying, crying, laughing emoji, crying, laughing emoji. He then continued, I'm a top 2 coverage safety, and in this league, once I got comfortable in this system, and my money not on me being number 2. Better keep y'all eyes open.
All right, buddy.
1, very confident.
Mm-hmm.
But 2, once I got comfortable. That's interesting. I don't know this. He says he's the highest graded safety since week 11, not only in man coverage, but also overall. I have no idea if that's true. I don't subscribe to PFF. I don't know that answer. Maybe somebody who does out there can tell me. He did play better at the end of last year. But there are 2 things for that. Number 1, he was really the best graded safety since week 11. That's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 6 games. 3 more games. I mean, that's it. He played better late. That's a huge boost. But also, you got to get used to the system. Good and bad. Good. Brian Cook, used to the system. Been there a year, got a chance to learn, but it's different being the guy at that safety spot. Number 2, takes a little time to get used to the system. Hello, Mike Edwards. So they're how good is Justin Reed? He's not elite. He's not, cheeks, but you add in not elite, second year guy, newbie, Dion Bush. That's their safety. Not a lot of depth there, but safety, that's where you factor where does Shamari Connor fit in this situation?
Shamari Connor, what does he do? You have break glass in case emergency, Najee Johnson.
See, you went with and I get it, because your question is, what are they going to do at linebacker? Because they have so many options. They can move so many people around. I'm not worried about linebacker because I got
yours just now they'll figure it out.
To me, yes. Bolton really good, figure it out. Tranquil really good, figure it out. Willie Gay. If you're worst linebacker out of the 3, you could argue that the Chiefs have 3 of the 4 best linebackers in the AFC West. You really could.
The Chiefs have the best linebacker group in the AFC West.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that for sure. You might Bolton number 1, Tranquil number 2, and maybe Willie Gay number 3. I'm trying to even think of who the linebackers are for the Chargers, the Broncos and stuff.
Because guys like Nick Joey Bosa does not count as a linebacker. He's technically a linebacker because they're a 3-4, but he's not a linebacker. He's an edge rusher. There's different things.
Yeah, he rushes. You're handing the dirt.
I mean, guys over the middle of the field, all that.
Yeah, they're edge.
Yeah,
Both an edge. Okay.
Yes. So, I just want to make that clear for maybe anyone random was like, they don't count.
That's why the linebacker position is unique the way you framed it, and I agree with you. I feel just how good are they going to be at safety? Because that is outside of the wide receiver, the most inexperienced and the youngest group on there. O-lineman, veteran. Tight end, veteran. Quarterback, veteran. Running back, veteran. D-line, veteran. Linebacker, veteran. Corners,
young, but we feel pretty good still.
Well, there's no newbies. They're all back.
Yeah.
Brian Cook is he's a newbie.
Like
he's
Brian Cook's a second-year player, but he's never been a starter. Like he's going to be asked to be the starter alongside Justin Reed. No, I'm with you when it comes to the safeties because they're going to have to replace the Sense Juan Thornhill, who was better than I think most Chiefs fans realized last year. He wasn't, any top tier anymore. He was pretty good last year. And you're asking Brian Cook to fill in, which we'll see how that goes. Then, Mike Edwards in the system. And I'm excited to see Justin Reed in year 2. What does he do in that second year? How does he look in that second year? And how does he fit and everything along that? So I'm fascinated by all of it and what it'll end up looking like for the Chiefs this year. But I get it. I'm with you in trying to figure out what the safety position is going to look like because it's an area you don't think about a ton, but will still be an important part of that defense coming up this year, especially with the young secondary group still, where they might all be, second year or more players, but a bunch of them are still young to where some help from the safeties would be beneficial.
I'm trying to see the percentage of plays that Cook did play on defense. I know it's 32% the plays that he had. My internet is really bad. That or Pro
He did
Football
32% of defensive plays, 342 snaps.
Yeah, I wonder per game how many they were. Like, did he play like 70% of snaps?
Give me 1 minute.
It's not coming up here.
Pro Football Reference is breaking down.
Did Chris Jones get a contract extension? Is that why?
No, it's price.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. Do you want to know what was his highest amount in a single game?
Yeah, just percentage of snaps.
His highest defensive snaps in a single game in the regular season was 87%.
So what that had to be week, 15, 16, or 17?
Week 12 against the Rams. He played 87% of defensive snaps, 47 snaps.
Was that what was the last part of the year?
Like 15, 16, 17?
Yeah.
That was Seattle, Denver, Vegas.
No, but percentage of snaps.
Oh, 41, 27, 34.
He did pretty much average about 30% of snaps a game.
And then the playoffs, he went 31, 41, 13 in the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Yeah, that's my number 3 headline. Coming up next, start, bench, and cut here on Mic'd Up.
Now at Menards, save.
All right, time for a little start, bench, and cut. Alrighty, we are going to go with the Royals.
Oh, no.
Alrighty, we are going to go with Royals pitchers.
Okay.
Start, bench, cut for, and I want to phrase this the right way because I know I've got the 3.
Okay.
But if I phrase it, I need to phrase it the correct way.
Okay.
Best future.
Okay.
For the Chiefs. Like, who's going to be the best pitcher?
Okay.
For the Chiefs. For the Chiefs. Yeah.
For the Chiefs. Chiefs.
Yeah.
Best pitch for the Chiefs.
For the Royals.
Okay.
All right. Cole Reagans, our NASCAR guy. That's just NASCAR.
He does. He sounds like a man who's racing go-karts every Saturday.
And that guy loves.
He does.
That guy loves Kurt Busch. All right.
Yeah.
Zerpa.
Angel Zerpa. Okay.
Okay. And Austin Cox.
Did you intentionally put 3 lefties here? Or is that just happy accident?
Happy accident.
Okay.
Yeah,
I find that very funny.
I know Reagan's is a lefty.
Yeah.
I forgot that Zerpa was a lefty because he's back pitching now.
Yep.
And then
Rendell's back in AAA.
Cox, no, I didn't even know he's left-handed. Yeah. Don't pay attention.
That's very, very funny to me. Oh, it's very funny to me. Oh, man. So Cole Reagan's, Angel Zerpa, and Austin Cox. Potential as a starting pitcher in the future.
For the Royals.
Yeah. Start Reagan's, bench Zerpa, cut Cox. Austin Cox's future is in the bullpen. And I don't even know how great that's going to be.
I never said starting pitcher.
I know. But because his future's in the bullpen, that's why.
What if instead of that, let's go Reagan's.
Okay.
Zerpa.
Okay.
Hernandez.
Start Reagan's, bench Hernandez, cut Zerpa. Because even though Hernandez is going to be a bullpen piece, that's a legit closer, like back of the rotation, back of the pen guy who's throwing gas. I know Zerpa. I don't know what to make of him because every start he's got in the big league level has been fine, but his peripherals suck. Like the things dancing around his numbers make you go, "Wow, he shouldn't be that good," but yet he's been fine. It makes no sense to me, and it drives me crazy. Like last year, he had 2 starts last year. His ERA was 1.64. That's really good.
Yeah.
His FIP was 5.75.
Excellent.
Makes no sense.
Excellent.
So, like Zerpa, I want to see him get more run, but Cole Reagan's, man, I know it's 1 start, but the stuff alone makes me excited.
You need to tell everybody that a FIP of 5.
Yeah. So
what is it?
FIP is
that is not good.
Yeah. So real quick, let me explain that because I can. Fielding independent pitching. Think of it.
Just give him a number.
Yeah. You want it to be like an ERA. 3.5 or lower is good. Like all FIP is, it's an ERA, but based off of strikeouts, walks, and home runs. Yeah. Things you can control independent of your fielding. If it's higher than your ERA, you've gotten lucky. If it's lower than your ERA, you've gotten unlucky. For Zerpa to have like his ERA of like 1 something and a FIP of 5, he got real lucky in his 2 starts last year.
I don't know if it is a little bit of luck, but also it's just I don't know if it's luck that
it's not purely luck.
Yeah, if you put the ball in play enough, you know that you're going to get burned. And
that's essentially the point. Like it's partly luck, part just but like I remember one of his starts last year, he was giving up like every hit was like 100 miles off the bat, but just right at somebody.
That's why to me, I I'm not a big FIP blip VORP type of guy. The stat that I like a lot is WHIP. I like walks and hits
per 9
innings pitch.
Because how many base runners do you allow in?
Exactly. If you're like, I'll tell you this right here. If your WHIP is 1.7 and your ERA's in the 3s, buddy, you're getting a lot of double plays.
Yep.
You're living on the edge.
Yeah, you're walking.
You're living on the edge.
Yeah.
If your WHIP is 1.1,
you're pretty good. 1 base runner in an inning. You take that.
You're in the top 15. So
for what it's worth, just on this before I go to mine for you, Angel Zerpa's WHIP last year in his 3 games, 2 starts, very small size, was 1.091.
That's really good.
I don't get it. Like I said, if I want to see more of Angel Zerpa, I don't get it. I don't understand him. I just want to see what it looks like. But no, Cole Reagan's, you give me a lefty that can throw like 99 with a good changeup. It's just there's a lot there.
Real quick, just to give everybody an idea, one of the greatest seasons in the history of baseball was in 2015. Wade Davis. Okay.
Wade Davis's 2015 stats look like they're fake.
Davis gave up 7 earned runs in 67 innings. That's good for an ERA of 0.94. His WHIP, watch me whip.
Watch me nay.
He said nay to a lot of people. His WHIP was 0.7. He didn't allow a base runner an inning. That's stupid.
2015 Wade Davis is one of my favorite stats. That man's ERA was 0.94.
Like, if you want to talk about
that man gave up in 67 and a third innings, 7 earned runs.
Yeah. I think finishing 6th in the Cy Young is complete BS there.
We're slightly out the rails here, but now I'm looking at the Cy Young voting that year and see who was ahead of him. Well, I mean, all ahead of him was all starting pitchers. And I mean, in today's day and age, I get it.
Like, so good.
By most metrics, he should have finished in about the spot he finished in, truly. Like, given his value and everything like that. So, start bench cut, Jake. Some Chiefs wide receivers. This is entirely based on who you think will be the most productive this season. Based on what you think they can turn into, what you think they can do, who do you think will be most beneficial to this team this season? Richie James, Justin Watson, Sky Moore. So wide receivers 3 through 5, not 3 through 5. I can speak English.
Start Richie James, bench Sky Moore, cut Justin Watson.
You are so big on Richie James.
I think people are underestimating Richie James.
You are so big on Richie James. Richie James.
Yeah. That's why I think me personally, I'm interested in seeing how this is going to work, because if that's the case, I've got Tony, MVS, Richie James, Sky Moore. Sky Moore's your number 4, and they're excited for Sky Moore. But also, Sky Moore being your number 4, kind of scary, because he caught 1 touchdown last year.
For those of you at home,
the game-winning touchdown in the NFL Super Bowl.
For those of you playing at home, Richie James last year for the Giants had 57 catches for 569 yards and 4 touchdowns. All of those career highs.
With Daniel Jones.
Yep. Danny Dimes.
How did he get that name?
Danny Dimes? I don't know, brother.
Because it's alliteration.
Pretty much. Like
he ain't throwing no dimes. He ain't throwing any dimes. You throw dimes. You ready for this? You have to throw more than 15 touchdowns to be able to say you threw a dime.
Fair.
Mahomes threw 15 touchdowns in the first 6 games.
Yeah, Daniel Jones last 2, man. That's his second. I mean, he threw 24 touchdowns his rookie year.
Oh, so he decreased. Oh, okay.
He went 24, 11, 10, 15.
Yeah, there you go.
Last year was the most starts he's had in a single season of 16.
That man didn't even register a touchdown a game. You're not a quarterback.
Yeah.
He should have qualified for anything. Unless you throw X amount of time. There are backups.
15 touchdowns to 5 picks. Man, Danny Dimes.
God, that's
708 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns. Nearly 6 yards a carry.
Sweet. Your running back is throwing the ball. Awesome. Real smart.
So, hold on. I know we need to move on. I know we need to. But real quick, I have to put this out. Pro Football Reference has nicknames on their page. Danny Dimes, obviously, is one of Daniel Jones. He has a second on here. And I want to clarify, people get nicknames on here because someone just puts it on there. Like, they don't ever have to have actually been called this.
I thought they did.
No, because Patrick Mahomes says Fat Trick on his page, and no one's ever called him Fat Trick.
Let's start calling him that.
Let's not. That's rude.
It's PHAT.
No, it's FATRICK.
That's okay. What do we got here?
Daniel Jones, for one of his nicknames, is Vanilla Vic.
He is not even remotely vanilla Vic.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
That's not even Vanilla Vic. Like, Vanilla Vic would be like Eric Crouch.
Sure.
Yeah. A guy who's got some wiggle. Danny Dimes ain't got no wiggle. Man, Danny Dimes fell down running down the middle of the field.
I want to add, this is all of, before we go, these are all Patrick Mahomes' nicknames.
Steve Young is Vanilla Vic.
These are all of Patrick Mahomes' nicknames. Grim Reaper, Showtime. Those we get. I now give you the one.
Do you remember when Booger McFarland called him Showtime 18,000 times on that Monday night?
Yeah,
game,
it was really stupid.
Everybody hated it.
It was awful, and I still hate it. I give you now the ones that make no sense. Magic Man. The Musician. The aforementioned Fat Rick. The Gunslinger. which kind of works, but
Guns
one
up.
that I get where they're going for, but I'm not here for it. My homeboy.
Those are bad.
They're awful.
Those are bad. Not good. Not good at all. Coming up next, we'll talk a little Chiefs football for day one of Chiefs training camp here on Mic'd Up. Today is that Isaiah Pacheco out on the field already. Andy Reid telling us, yeah, I don't know. Is he going to start on the PUP list? We'll have to wait and see. He's out there on the field running around, according to Matt Derrick.
Gotta love a feisty running back.
Most running backs aren't feisty. Like when I think of feisty, I think strictly defense.
I mean, yeah, they're the biggest trash talkers. Defensive backs are the number one trash talkers in football, and it's not close.
And I not just it's not that they're just they'll hit you late. They're always doing stuff that they should. Like all defensive players are, or just they're like most are just feisty. You know, like the Chiefs' defensive player who I think is the most like feisty would be Willie Gay.
Yeah.
But that's good news. That's good news that he is
very nice. Nice to see him not start the year on the PUP list.
Yes, that was great. Tershawn Wharton on the sideline, so that is good. Andy Reid doesn't know if Chris Jones is going to report on veteran report day. He does confirm communication regarding a new contract is ongoing.
They're chit-chatting.
They are.
You know, they're having words.
Rashee Rice lost his cookies.
He did.
Struggling with the heat, perhaps.
I don't believe it.
I'm not either.
If you played football for 4 years in Texas,
yes,
I just don't believe that you can't handle a little Missouri heat. I don't believe it. I don't care about humidity versus dry heat. None of that.
I'm with you. No,
I don't believe in you.
It's 85 degrees.
Because that man had to practice so many times down there at SMU with like it being like 98.
Yeah. The one thing, and this is a beige flag, as that's that's the new thing right now.
It's a mahogany flag.
His beige flag is he weighed in at 204 at the combine. He was up to 214 and had to lose 14 pounds before camp. That's not normal for a wide receiver. Maybe he has weight issues. That's also not normal for a wide receiver. Last wide receiver who had weight issues was like David Boston of the Chargers. That's because he was taking every steroid. Remember how big David Boston was? The dude was huge.
I mean, if we're talking about wide receivers with weight issues, Kelvin Benjamin is the most recent example.
I could have gone with Kelvin Benjamin.
Buddy loved him some buffalo chicken wings out there with the Bills.
Yeah. That's former Chief.
That
Kelvin
is
Benjamin.
former Chief Kelvin Benjamin.
As Brent likes to point out, he's fat. And he's not the PH.
No.
Not the PH.
I can't remember the last time I was talking to Brent about Kelvin Benjamin. Yeah, he was just like, well, no, he's fat.
He's
just very blunt with it.
The Scott Steiner reference.
Yeah.
He's fat. That's a beige flag, not a red flag yet.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna wait and see how things go. But it's just odd.
It's worth mentioning.
Not many people throw up during practice. Not many people don't show up to camp, an Andy Reid camp. It ain't no secret. It's a difficult camp.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
I guarantee you, every one of them told everybody that, hey, show up to practice in shape. Show up to practice. You can still party it up. You look at Travis Kelce here the last couple of weeks. I promise you, he's still been working out.
Yeah.
Show up to camp in shape. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe he had a little bubble guts going on. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But losing 14 pounds back to camp, that's just not normal for a wide receiver. So I got my beige flag up. We got my maroon flag, little fuchsia flag, not red.
Little mahogany.
We're not full Breland Speaks, but it ain't nothing either. You know. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to shorten the show tomorrow because tomorrow the Royals play a day game against the Tigers and could be going for 3 in a row at that time. I'm just going to let you know real quick. If they win today and they win tomorrow on Friday, I will be insufferable.
Good.
Like you are going to be so mad at me.
Sure.
Because every other word out of my mouth would have been, I told you so. Putting a lot of faith in the Royals here. A lot. I just got a vibe. Don't you ever get those vibes?
Occasionally.
Royals going to go out and get smoked 9-0. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop. Fulton, what do you got for your micro?
Very simple. I'm very happy for Daniel Lynch being able to change his name to officially to Daniel Lynch the Fourth. Gets to recognize his family. It's awesome. That's a great thing. He still must about becoming Aloysius Lynch. Just saying.
Why didn't he do something like a lot of writers do? Be like D. Aloysius Lynch.
Be even cooler.
You know, because a lot of people do like their first name is just a letter and then a dot.
It's still cool. I'm happy for him. It's an awesome, great change. Glad he finally got to do it.
You know, like
missed chance.
F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yep.
What did Scott Fitzgerald do to you?
Good joke.
That was off dead. I'm gonna go with this, Reishi Rice, but I hope you can get into shape, man. I really, really do. Coming up, we got 580 Sports Talk. We'll talk to you for a short edition of Mic'd Up tomorrow at noon.
For the ones who know safety